An explosive report from the Wall Street Journal shedding light on how the White House functioned or didn't function with a diminished Biden in charge.
This is the biggest scandal in America, and the level and volume of people who dedicated themselves to lying to everyone at home is breathtaking.
A bombshell report by the Wall Street Journal came out that said that Biden's aides have been hiding his mental decline since 2021. Now, this is something we've all known since he became president, but they consistently told us that we were wrong. They called us conspiracy theorists. Every member of the White House, every member of the media came out and told us how sharp, how on it, how energetic Joe Biden was, all for it to come out and be exposed as a bold-faced lie. Now, if we can get this video to 5,000 likes, I would really appreciate it. You guys have been showing so much support. It is insane. And the reason why this bombshell report is so important is not because it gives us some moral vindication. It's because it exposes a very scary reality that we all assumed. Joe Biden was not in charge of the country the past 4 years. In fact, this article highlights that his aides and staffers, all unelected people, basically got delegated the roles of the president. They made decisions on Biden's behalf. They controlled who Biden met. They controlled what he said, who saw him. It is insane. Now, listen to the reporter who broke this report talk about how the media in the White House tried to cover this up when she made a previous report in June, 2 weeks before Biden was exposed for being brain dead on the debate stage. Watch.
Was there anything in your reporting for this new article that you didn't know back in June when you first reported? That was about 2 weeks before the debate between Trump and Biden, which revealed everything.
Yeah, there's a lot in this piece that came to light to us after that debate, after the initial story that came out, and after the debate. We have found that over the past few weeks and months, Democrats have become much more willing to come forward and talk about their experiences with the president and with this White House. And, you know, I'm quite grateful for that. That's helped us really understand, more fully understand the situation that has been going on for the last 4 years.
Okay, so here's some criticism of your reporting from back then. Joe Scarborough said, "I have repeatedly stated on air that I am an avid reader and cheerleader for the Wall Street Journal. That is what makes this false, biased story so disappointing. It is undermined immediately by the massive weight on the record." And then you had Ben LeBold, he's the White House comms director, say, "Yep, complete and utter editorial fail by the Wall Street Journal. Makes you wonder who they're taking orders from." This is from the same people who want, a return to norms and for democracy not to die in darkness. Was there anybody that you felt was not truthful to you back in June that was talking to you now?
Look, I think that the White House knew exactly what they were doing in June.
So back when she originally dropped this in June, everybody was discrediting it as being a bad piece of journalism, as being fake, because Joe Biden was still in the race. This latest report has over 50 on-the-record sources from inside Biden's White House. It goes as far as to say his unelected staffers controlled who came and saw him, meaning Joe Biden was not able to even receive transparent and accurate information before making decisions or before delegating decisions to be made through his staff. So Biden would receive whatever information his staffers allowed him to receive and then would delegate decisions based off of faulty information. And who's to say that his staffers even performed the actions in the way that he told them to? It means that all these blunders that the country has faced the past 4 years could have been avoided. They were entirely avoidable. And that's why these people need to be held accountable, because this is as undemocratic as it gets. And it also exposes how many members in Congress and how many people in the media were just simply lying to us. I mean, we knew that they were lying, but now it's been proven that they were lying. All of these people would say, "Oh yeah, I spend so much time with Joe Biden. I met with him this week. We spent so much time together. He's so with it." when in reality, nobody was able to spend any time with Joe Biden. Even his closest cabinet members had trouble getting access to him. The Democrats should have invoked the 25th Amendment and removed Joe Biden from office, but instead they chose to push a false narrative that everything was okay, allow the country to be run by Democrat establishment staff, and maintain their power by any means necessary. Kamala Harris, who said that she was in the Oval Office for every big decision, who said that she met with him frequently, weekly, lied to us. The American people deserve to know who was in charge of making what decisions, what particular aides or staffers were in charge of some of these immigration policies, or the withdrawal from Afghanistan, or some of these inflation policies, because these caused real harm to the American people. And it's safe to say at this point, based on all credible sources, including this report, that Joe Biden really had no idea what was going on at all for the past 4 years. Now, Biden, or his staff, as we now know, has been trying to just screw Trump right before he leaves office by doing a number of things. He signed a union contract with federal workers, giving them 5 years to work from home, hiring 1,200 DEI bureaucrats with the salary up to $300,000 per year, and then finally trying to sell off the pieces of Trump's border wall for pennies on the dollar, even though Trump is trying to come back in and resume progress of the wall. But a big win for Trump, as a giant 8,000 panel of border wall auction was canceled and postponed until after the election. Watch.
So, Bill, let's call this the Great Biden Christmas border wall heist that President Trump, with a little help from his friends in Texas, stopped and caught him red-handed. Here's what happened, Bill. Last Thursday, the story broke when a border wall agent or a border agent said they were moving wall. I happened to be on Laura Ingraham that night as that story broke, and I said, well, I've got $1 billion in my pocket. We'll go buy it all. Well, we looked the next day, and it wasn't there. It was just old stuff was there, or maybe some photos that they were kind of masquerading what it was. Because what happened, Bill, is this summer, they notified us of an auction. We bought $12 million worth of border wall, about 4 miles, a big savings to our taxpayers. But they didn't tell us about this auction, as we find out. So they moved that wall, started last weekend, and that's when it started showing up. Fox had video of it, photos of it, and they were hustling it to Arizona to auction off yesterday. In the meantime, President Trump came out and said, this could be a criminal act. You better not do it. And we sent our people over there with our checkbook and said, we'll buy it all if it's good. We think they were trying to sneak 8,000 panels or more under the nose of the American public, under the nose of the states, because they didn't notify us of the auction. They hid the photos, but President Trump caught them. Don't mess with Trump and don't mess with Texas.
It just seems like everything that is now coming out about the Biden administration deserves some level of investigation into it. I mean, you have to remember that Biden got caught mishandling documents, the same thing that provoked the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago. But then they had a special investigator basically declare Biden is too old and too senile to be held responsible for it and can't be prosecuted. I saw somebody on X say all of his pardons should be nullified because the president is not in the right state of mind to be making any executive decisions. And by the way that Joe Biden met with Trump at the White House after Trump won the election, you can tell Joe Biden does not hate Trump. So it seems like all of these Trump-motivated attacks definitely came from the Democrat establishment, these unelected staffers and aides who were just trying to hold on to power and prosecute a political opponent that threatened their station. These vindictive last-minute moves, like trying to sell off pieces of the border, screwing over the taxpayer. The government already paid for these border pieces, and now they're trying to sell them off for pennies on the dollar, just so Donald Trump doesn't have them when he returns to office. It seems everywhere you look, there's some sort of scandal going on. And I'm honestly glad that we did get vindicated because we were calling out all of this hypocrisy, all of this betrayal, all of this lying for the past 4 years. And even though we were dismissed by the mainstream media, which we know are propaganda pieces for the Democrat Party and nothing more than liars, it feels good that the proof is finally out there. Now watch Scott Jennings on CNN call out the Democratic Party and bash them viciously for this cover-up of Biden's cognitive decline. It's insane. Watch.
This is the biggest scandal in America, and the level and volume of people who dedicated themselves to lying to everyone at home about this man's condition for 4 straight years up through this summer is breathtaking. It's a scandal of epic proportions, and it's a fair question to ask: who is running the country? Who has been running the country? And as I said earlier, if you're worried about Donald Trump's advisors having influence, for the last 4 years, apparently this president, duly elected, but this president was not capable of fulfilling the duties of the office. And his staff and the White House lied about it and kept it from the American people. It's an absolute scandal. We elect people for a reason. The elected leadership of the government is supposed to be making decisions. For 4 years, the unelected have been in charge of our country during critical moments. We don't live in a country where the unelected are supposed to rule us. We live where the elected are supposed to rule. My problem is, for 4 years, we were lied to about who's actually running the country. This is a problem.
I mean, at literally every turn, the Democrats are proving themselves to be the exact boogeyman that they called out the Republican Party for being. History is going to look back at this era and see that Donald Trump was a genuine American patriot who just wanted to improve his country, fight against the establishment, and make the government work for the people. And the Democrats have the gall to call out Elon Musk for being close to Trump, when just a few months ago, they were calling Trump a dictator, an authoritarian, a fascist. Now they're switching the narrative completely and saying that he's just merely a puppet. He doesn't make any decisions at all. It's like the Democrat Party cannot stop digging itself into an even deeper hole. I think it's no chance that they compete in the 2028 elections. And at this rate, it's looking like it's going to be hard for them to compete in 2032. No donor is going to give money to these people after what Kamala Harris did. Nobody watches Democrat mainstream media anymore, so they can't purport their lies and try to influence people with false information. No one trusts that they're the morally superior good guys after Joe Biden pardoned his son and basically did a 180 on everything that he said he was going to do. They just have no ground to stand on, and it is not looking good for them in the slightest. Now, the final piece of news I want to touch on today is a terrorist attack that occurred in Germany, where an Islamic extremist drove a car through a Christmas festival. And as of right now, 5 people are dead and over 200 are injured. I'm not going to show the footage because it is graphic, but listen to the news reporting on just how devastating this is.
Tonight, a German city in grief after what was supposed to be an evening of festivities ended in scenes of absolute horror. They had crowded the Magdeburg Christmas market when all of a sudden, the unimaginable. A car slamming into a crowd of people, 5 killed, among those a 9-year-old child. 200 people were injured, 41 with serious injuries, some of those deemed life-threatening. Authorities say it all happened within a 3-minute window. The suspect entered the market using the emergency access route, approaching slowly, then accelerating into the crowd.
This is one of the many problems with open borders, is it allows extremists, terrorists who hate our country, hate our people, and hate Western civilization into the safe space of the American people. We are fortunate that these kind of attacks have not happened yet in America, seeing as we know that a record number of people on the terrorist watch list have crossed into America through the southern border during the past 4 years. Compassion politics do not work because evil and brutal people will take advantage of them. Borders don't just represent geographic boundaries. They represent an agreement amongst the populace of a certain set of ideals, of norms, of customs, of traditions, of principles. And if you invite people into the country who not only have no interest in assimilating to these norms, but outright hate them and want to destroy them, you're only going to get bad results for the people of the country. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below about Biden's mental health finally being exposed. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.